And we are live again with Portage County Free World. Today we're going to talk about some fun stuff that homeless people love doing. I know I did when I was homeless. It's no, I did it for a living, and it's how do people get stuff when they're homeless and jobless, especially. Is so we're going to go through a couple of those things, like dumpster diving. We're going to talk about butt hunting. If you don't know what that is, that's kind of fun. Collecting furniture from tree lawns and the curbs, scrapping, recycling, uh, stuff like that. So I guess we'll start with dumpster diving. And I don't know. I found some really cool stuff in the dumpster. So I took a few pictures of things that I still have from when I used to grab stuff from dumpsters and tree lawns. So, what I want to do is, if there's a way, I got my guru tech ninja with me today. Is on our YouTube where they post comments and subscribe. I don't know if that's two different places, right? But where they post comments, I'd like for anybody watching this, especially if you're homeless and a dumpster diver like me, send us a picture of the coolest thing that you've found in a dumpster or in the trash or on a tree lawn or a curb or whatever, because I know that's a big way of how we survive when we're homeless. And you can make money from selling some of that stuff, or you'll find broken items, fix them up a little bit, bring them to a secondhand store, get a few bucks for it, or sell it to somebody who needs it. So that's one way of gathering income that not just homeless people do. Some people do it for a living, and they just drive around in their truck. But yeah, dumpster diving and it's not just stuff. There's food too, good food, and I think I mentioned this on one of my other podcasts, but I shouldn't name restaurant names, right? Uh, okay, well, I'll do it. I know that every night there are restaurants that throw away food that they can't sell the next day because it has to be cooked fresh every day, like Jimmy John's loaves of bread. They're thrown away every night, and they're bagged up separately from the rest of the trash. So you can go through, or you can open up Jimmy John's dumpster, and you'll see it's sealed up in one bag because they don't want raccoons getting to it, then tearing up their dumpster and all that. So, there were times where I just grab the whole bag and take it back to the campsite and divvy it out between my friends and then just feed the rest of the birds.
Well, most people would find that disgusting. It's like a gold mine for a homeless person.
Oh, absolutely. And it was great. It's baked fresh that day. Panera Bread Company does the same thing. Chipotle throws away their tortilla chips because they're not allowed to sell the tortilla chips that they made that day the next day. So imagine, tortilla chips that you have up in your cupboard in your house. Sometimes people will roll the bag up and keep it there for 2 or 3 months. This is like fresh, baked, deep fried fresh that day at Chipotle. So there's that. GFS, I found a whole ham in there once because they sliced the slices wrong for the restaurant. It was just a little bit off of what the restaurant owner wanted, and they had to throw the whole ham away. But they threw it away wrapped. There was also, that same night, there was a gallon of mayonnaise, and the seal on the top of the mayonnaise was broken, and a little drip was coming down the side, but the seal wasn't broken yet. So I took that, and I took the ham in my Jimmy John's bread, and I had ham sandwiches for, well, more ham sandwiches than I wanted to eat. I ate ham sandwiches morning till night for like a week. But there's stuff like that all the time. There's, I think it was Giant Eagle that threw away in their dumpster an entire case of Coca-Cola, or multiple cases. I don't know. I found one case. I don't know how many were down in the dumpster, but it was Coca-Cola that had expired that day. They weren't allowed to sell it anymore past that day. And so I took as many of those cans as I can carry. in my backpack, and I had all kinds of other stuff with me. So really, there's a lot of, when you hear about a homeless person digging in a dumpster for food, it's not a half-eaten burrito from, somebody that just threw it away. Although some people might have, you'd be surprised. But no, there's really good brand new food. Family Dollar was another one. They would throw away candy, food like chips, potato chips. Mark's is another one, and Save a Lot. I think one time at Save a Lot there was about 25 to 30 or maybe even more. I only grabbed 10 packages of frozen sausages, and the frozen sausages weren't allowed to be sold past that day. So they were fine. They were still frozen when I found them. I mean, pretty much frozen, and I brought them to a friend's house because I couldn't keep them out in the woods with me. But I brought him to a friend's house and put him in his freezer, and he fed his family with him, and I'd come over once in a while and get some. Yeah. Mark's, we filled up my other buddies. His kid had one of those radio flyer wagons. You pull it, you pull your little brother and sister around in it, or your groceries or whatever. And we filled that up with bags of expired potato chips from Mark's. Brand new bags. They weren't open or anything like that. Probably shouldn't be saying a lot of this, because one thing I should point out is dumpster diving is illegal. Yeah. So I'm not advocating that you do this. I'm just talking to some of my brothers and sisters out there that I know are doing this right now, and letting you know some of the places that I stumbled across where maybe it would be helpful if you're going to do it on your own accord. This is what I'd recommend, but I'm not telling you to do it. Scrapping and recycling, we did a lot of that. When you live with 8 or 10 other homeless people in a little homeless community, there's beer cans. There's beer cans everywhere. And I'm a neat freak, kind of, especially when I was out there. I'm actually worse in my own home than I was when I was out there. But I was living with 8 or 10 people, and I didn't want to see, the whole place go to shit. So I'd pick up all the beer cans, and I put them in a separate bag than the rest of the regular trash. And so we started just recycling our beer cans and getting, a little bit of money for those. So that's another thing we did for money. As far as buying cigarettes, that's expensive. So we did what we call butt hunting. And some people call it snipe hunting, whatever it is. You go around to the local bars in town, and inevitably you're going to find 4 or 5 or 6 cigarette butts half smoking from people who just didn't want to finish their cigarette. And you put them in a little container, and you just walk around town until that container's full. And I would find sometimes 40 or 50 cigarette butts in a day. And that's what I would do instead of paying for cigarettes. And I don't think I paid for cigarettes for years. Probably 4 years I never bought a pack of cigarettes, because there are so many cigarette butts around town. And if you're thinking that that's nasty, that's a nasty thing to do, you're absolutely right. What's even nastier is when you put your lips on some lady's lipstick that's still gunked on the cigarette, and you can taste it. You can taste her lipstick. It's pretty gross, but it's nicotine. And so that's another thing we did, and that's real. And there's people out there right now doing it. So, my heart goes out to them, and I'm not going to lie. I still do it sometimes. And when I'm desperate for a cigarette, I will pull up you probably can't see the ashtray. I'll put it up on the screen here. The one of those ashtrays where you find out in front of a bar or the bus station or whatever. You pick that thing up, and usually stores like Acme, Walmart, they're always full of half or 3/4 long cigarettes in there. You fill your pocket full of them, or a little container or a Ziploc bag, whatever it is. Another thing we did when I first was homeless in Talmadge was me and my friend Derek, he's a big dude, strong. Um, he was homeless with me, and we would collect furniture from tree lawns, or whatever. Sometimes in dumpsters. And I got a picture of one of those too, that just from today, where people throw away very nice furniture, and we would take it to Abby Ann's. That's a local thrift store in Akron, and we would get sometimes 10, 20, 30, dollars for a chair or a couch. One time we were about a block away from Abby Ann's, and this guy was moving out of his apartment, and we asked him. Actually, Derek asked him. I was a little shy at the time. But he asked him, he said, "Do you need any help? We could use $5. We'll help you move all that stuff into your truck." And the guy was like, "I would love that. And I'll give you some stuff too." So the guy ended up saying, he said, "All the furniture that I'm going to put out by the dumpster, you guys can have. Everything else, I want you to help me load into my truck. And then, and then I'll pay you a few bucks too." So he ended up paying us like $20, but over by the dumpster area when we were done was almost an entire house worth of nice furniture. And this was like a gold mine for us because he just paid us cash. Plus, he had like, I think 5 or 10 bottles of open liquor bottles, but almost full, like 3/4 full. And he's like, I don't want to bring all of this with me. So he gave us all those too, like a box full of liquor, different kinds of liquor. So we called up Abby Ann's, and they came. We helped them load their truck up with all the furniture, and that was like $50 they gave us for everything that was sitting there. Plus we got the liquor. Plus we got $20, I think, or $20 each. I can't remember. It was a while back, but it was a good day. And so we didn't drink all the liquor standing right there. We brought it back down and locked it up. But that lasted us a while. So yeah, we as far as dumpster diving, butt hunting, finding stuff on tree lawns, curbing. Like people throw it on curbs too, like just for anybody to come and get. That's how we kind of got stuff, and we furnished our campsite. We sold stuff. We got along just fine. Like when people are like, how do you get stuff? Like if you don't have a job, if you're homeless, how do you get stuff? Where'd you get all this stuff you got down here? And after 4 years of just dumpster diving and curbing, you end up with money in your wallet too, because a lot of the stuff you fix up and sell. That's another thing. We had a tool set down there with everything we needed to, if we found something in the trash or on a curb or whatever, and it was defective. Usually that's why they throw it away. Something's wrong with it. We would take it down and fix it, and then take it up to Abby Ann's or find someone who needed it and sell it to them. And we always sold things dirt cheap. But there's a few items that I found in the dumpsters. I want to say the coolest item that I've ever found that's been my friend for years was my 88 key keyboard that I've used to busk. And I got a picture of that. We can throw it up right here. So that, but I've got a computer here. We'll put that on the screen that I found a guitar. It doesn't have any strings on it or anything, but it's a starter guitar. I love instruments, so anytime I see something like that, my eyes go right to it. What else? This ashtray that you found, Will? That's really cool. I was just out in the dumpster area today here at the apartment, and I was taking a picture of the dumpster for the show. So we can, when we're talking about dumpster diving, I want to have a picture of a dumpster. Anyway, I looked inside, and there was a garbage can. I took a picture of that, too. We'll put that right here. But I haven't had a garbage can since we moved in here. And it's really cool because I actually found a garbage can in the garbage. So that's one less thing. Because, it took me a while to get a vacuum cleaner, to get a broom and dustpan, to get a mop, and now I have a garbage can. All that stuff I found. I can't afford to go out and buy all that stuff at one time. So I found it a little bit here and then a little bit there. So, but that's what that's all about. The reason I brought up dumpster diving and how homeless people get stuff and all that is because I am going to be focusing a lot more on things that really have to do with a day in the life of a homeless person. Some other podcasts that I'm going to get to are going to deal with more serious things like theft and how theft goes along with homelessness. In lighter subjects like busing. I mean, I can spend an hour just talking about the part of bus system, and how annoying that is. But that's how we get around. I mean, if you don't have a car, you use the bus. And so there's ways to get bus passes without having to pay for them, like churches and passages. You have to join in, participate in their programs. But yeah, you can get bus passes. You can do some volunteer work and get bus passes for it. And there's a lot of places that let you do that. It's not just we covered food pantries, we covered dumpster diving. We're going to cover things like stealing, which isn't the most honorable thing to cover, but it goes hand in hand with homelessness. We talked a little bit about chemical dependency, busing. So we talked about a day in life, like gathering wood and stuff like that. What we do from morning till night. Trying to think of what else. What time are we at? About 17 minutes, I think. So I think for now we're gonna end this podcast, and we got some cool new ideas for as far as editing. So I think you're gonna see a little bit different look on this one. So we're gonna get to work on that and post this up there for you guys. And subscribe, please subscribe. That's another thing I have never said on any of our videos before, but it's important that you do that for us because the more followers we have, the more we know that we should keep going. And it's important to us to know that you're watching. So if you subscribe, then you'll also get a notification once in a while from us that we have a new podcast up. So
when you subscribe, make sure you turn on post notifications, and that'll allow you to get notifications when we upload.
Okay, I don't know if you heard that, but what Will said was when you subscribe, make sure if you want notifications of our podcast to turn your post notifications on, and then you'll get a notification sent to your email that we put up a new podcast. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.